There's a strange moment that happens when everything you've been planning falls apart. You crafted the routine, mapped the habits, built the system. You were ready. You visualized success, and yet when you finally stepped into it, nothing went the way it was supposed to. And that's what happened to me. I had been planning this lifestyle shift for months, down to the hour. Everything on my calendar was mapped out with surgical precision. Wake up time, content blocks, gym time, mindfulness. Even when I rest, it was all there. But when it came time to actually live it, to embody the schedule I spent so long building, reality didn't cooperate. Disruption showed up, my own resistance showed up, and suddenly the perfect plan wasn't just breaking, it was breaking me. Anxiety started creeping back in, fast. I hadn't felt it in a long time, but there it was again, familiar in a haunting kind of way. I started to judge myself. You planned for this. Why isn't it working? Are you really who you say you are if you can't even stick to your own path? And that's when the spiral began. One failure led to the next. I missed the meter on my car. Boom, parking ticket. Then a missed appointment. Then the memory of every other time I failed came crashing in like a tidal wave. This is what the mind does. It fixates. It filters. Buddhist philosophy reminds us all suffering comes from attachment to how things should be rather than how they are. And that was me. I was attached to a version of myself I hadn't yet grown into and punishing myself for not being there already. What I learned that day and what I'm still learning is that failure is not an enemy. It's a mirror. It reflects back the beliefs we hold about ourselves, about our worth, about time, and about control. The Stoics say you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. I was trying to control everything outside of me. The day, the schedule, the flow, but the true strength was in noticing what was happening inside of me. So I tried to shift my state. I did everything I've ever recommended to others. The walk, the grounding, the breath work, even AI assistance. And none of it worked. But then something unexpected did. A simple conversation with a family member, not about the failure, not about the plan, just human connection. That snapped me back into presence. And it reminded me, sometimes you don't need a technique. You need truth. You need to feel connected. And in that moment, I remembered, I'm not broken. I'm just becoming. Fast forward to today, and guess what? I'm still not perfect. The plan still looks different, but I'm further. I'm deeper in the work, more embodied, stronger. Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And here's the twist. Becoming who you truly are doesn't come from things going right. It comes from learning how to keep going when things go wrong. I realized something powerful. The plan I had was a theory, a guess, a map. But real life, that's the terrain. And you don't build strength by studying the path. You build strength by walking it. So, was it really failure? And what even is failure? Is it missing the mark, or is it refusing to try again? Because from where I sit now, I see it differently. There is no failure unless you decide to stop. There is no loss unless you refuse to learn. There is no shame unless you choose to shrink from your truth. Failure in its raw form is feedback. It's the universe saying, not yet, not like that. Try again. Think about the gym. My first few weeks back, 30 minutes felt like a marathon. I was lightheaded, exhausted, barely pushing through. But now I can go longer, stronger, more in tune with my body. Not because I avoided failure, but because I went through it. That's how life works. We fail into success. You see, most people think failure is a closed door. But from the lens of metaphysics, failure is simply the energy of refinement. You try to align with a new version of yourself, and the friction you feel, that's just your old frequency resisting your evolution. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek, said Joseph Campbell. And here's the beautiful thing. Every failure carries data. You learn what doesn't work, what you don't want, and what needs to shift. And that's sacred information. But most people don't stay long enough to decode it. They fail once and call it proof they're not meant for it. They forget that failure is the cost of mastery, of alignment, of becoming. Think about it. How many people win the game on the first try? Nobody. But they keep playing because each loss teaches them something. It builds muscle, it builds memory, and it builds trust. In video games, you get multiple lives for a reason. Why don't we offer ourselves the same grace in life? Every time you fail, you respawn. But now, you come back to the level with new wisdom. That's not failure. That's strategy. It's alchemy. And maybe, just maybe, the failure was part of the plan all along. Maybe that business you started, the one that didn't work, maybe it was supposed to fall. Not to break you, but to refine you. To build a version of you strong enough to launch the real vision. I've seen it happen. Seen it in clients, friends, and even myself. One step backward, two forward, then a detour, then a breakthrough. The universe doesn't waste anything, not even in failures. So if you're in that place now where things feel like they're falling apart, where the plan isn't matching reality, where your spirit is heavy, hear me. This is not the end. This is refinement. And if you can learn to see failure not as punishment, but as preparation, everything will change. Journal it, feel it, sit with it, and then rise. Because all success is built on the ruins of our failed attempts. It's how we shape character, our depth, vision. As I look back now, I'm grateful that things didn't go the way I planned, because they're starting to unfold in a way I couldn't have planned. And that's the gift of surrender. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray, said Rumi. So keep going. You're closer than you think. And even if you fall again, fall forward. Fall with intention. Fall with grace. Because one day you'll look back and realize you never really failed. You were just learning how to fly.